Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you have never watched any of my exchange student videos before, hi, my name is Laura and I spent my exchange year in Texas in the USA a few years ago. So on this channel I am sharing everything I can share with you, my experiences, story times, Q&As. I'm trying to give you as much advice as possible so that you don't repeat any of the mistakes I made when I was an exchange student. I'm trying to give you as many tips as possible so that you can have the best study abroad experience that you can have. And if you enjoy my content, there's loads more on this channel for you to check out. But without further ado, let's get right on into this week's video. So today we are going to be dealing with quite a tough subject, and it is how to deal with homesickness. Now, first of all, I have to say that homesickness is something that every single exchange student is going to experience, no matter whether you were a person who has, been prone to homesickness before or not at all. You are going to get homesick. It is totally normal. It is totally fine. It is something that you have to expect. Personally, I was never a person to get homesick ever, but I stayed in the US for 10 months and it is just super natural to get homesick because it is such a long time that you do spend away from home. So, with all of my experience, I have compiled a few tips today on how to deal with homesickness and how to, make sure that you can get through this year and enjoy it as much as possible. So my tip number one on how to deal with homesickness as an exchange student is to set certain times to talk to your friends and family. What I did was that I always set 2 hours on a Sunday, 1 hour to talk with my family over Skype or FaceTime, and 1 hour to talk to a friend. That's what I would use to actually FaceTime and have some face-to-face talks, and that would work out really well for me. I think the time zone difference actually helped because that meant that there were just a lot of times during my day when I wasn't even able to talk to my friends and family at home constantly just because they were asleep or I was asleep, so that definitely helped. But I just think that setting this time on a Sunday, for example, or whichever day works best for you and your friends or loved ones, it just means that you have something to look forward to. You're going to be talking to them, that it is within reach, and with your family, for example, you might not need to talk to them every single week as the weeks go on. Maybe after 6 months you can do it every other week and have more time for maybe an additional friend on Sunday, for example. And of course I would also shoot them little WhatsApp messages or Facebook messages here and there, or send some pictures over, but it really makes sense to really schedule in times when you're going to be talking to them and to not, be in constant touch with them, because social media makes it so easy, but it is going to make you more prone to homesickness if you're constantly in touch with your friends and family and you always know what they're doing and what you're missing out on. And yeah, so take that time, set a date, set a certain time, and make sure that you don't stay in touch with your friends and family all day, every day. Just give yourself the distance that you're going to need and that they're going to need, and it's really going to help you out, I promise. My tip number two on how to deal with homesickness as an exchange student is to stay busy doing workouts, working on your schoolwork, joining any sort of clubs, doing any sort of hobbies or activities that you enjoy doing. If you do stay busy, you will have a lot less time and brain space to constantly think about, what everybody else at home is doing, what you're missing out on, and it would just give you a lot more time to enjoy, to be surrounded by other people, and a lot less time to kind of be super in your head and reflecting. And even though that's important sometimes, if you do that too much, you are going to get homesick so easily. And if you're just sitting, in your room and you're kind of bored and lonely, that's when you get super homesick. So if you can, it is always super helpful to join sports clubs at school or language clubs or anything like that. Maybe your church offers, some activities. Maybe you are just really proactive about making friends, or maybe you just have a hobby that you really enjoy, drawing, playing the guitar, whatever. It is just super helpful to do something that you enjoy doing so that you don't feel like you're missing out on anything, so that you don't always look towards your friends at home, see what they're posting on social media, see that they're hanging out. Just keep yourself busy so that you actually feel like you're doing something with your life, you're making positive memories, and maybe even make some friends in the process. So my tip number three is actually connected to that, and it is to not think too much about what other people are doing. That goes for both your friends and family at home as well as for other Americans, for example, if you're going to America, or you know, other peers. It is never helpful to constantly see that other people at home, your friends, are hanging out, because you just know that you're missing out on that part and that you're not making those memories, so obviously that is going to hurt you. It is also not helpful to compare your situation to other Americans. For example, if you are going to an American high school as an exchange student, those people have had their friends there for years, they have built those bonds for years. It is natural that you're not going to be invited to every single party or to every single hangout, and you're just in a new situation. It is going to take some time for your social calendar to fill up, so don't compare yourself to others. My tip number 4 is actually something that I learned the hard way. It is to not FaceTime too many people at the same time. What I mean by that is I FaceTimed my family at Christmas time, I think it was Christmas Eve, and I was on the one side of the FaceTime, and on the other side was an entire table filled with all of my loved ones and family members, and they were celebrating together, and it just made me feel so alone, and I just really realized how much I was missing out on, how much I wanted to be with them, and it made me really homesick. So my advice would be to never FaceTime with too many people at the same time, because you are seeing firsthand that, you know, they are having conversations, they are enjoying themselves, they are together, and it's really hard when you're sitting on the other side all by yourself. So, you know, FaceTiming with both of your parents there at the same time, totally fine. Maybe FaceTiming with 2 of your friends might be okay, but I find that it is best to Skype one-to-one. It is just so much easier to not get homesick when you don't see all of these people having a great time on the other side of the camera. My tip number 5 is to practice gratefulness. I know an exchange year is such an exciting time, and there will be loads of big moments where you're not going to be homesick at all because it is super exciting, but you know, it is also made up of a lot of mundane, everyday, day-to-day tasks and days, and you know, just times where there aren't like crazy exciting things happening. So it is very helpful to practice gratefulness. Remind yourself of the little things that happen in your day-to-day life that make you happy, that you're grateful for. Maybe somebody smiled at you in school today, maybe you did really well on a test, maybe the sun is just out and shining, maybe you just are wearing a great outfit that you feel super comfortable in. You know, celebrate those little things in life, because it is going to make you realize that, you know, your life is pretty great even though there are some setbacks and some hard moments. Just practice gratefulness, because it is going to mean that you're going to be a lot more content and happy in your everyday life, and you're a lot less prone to homesickness. Also, it is useful to maybe track your progress. You can use a diary to do that, for example, or you can just take a few moments to sit back and reflect, maybe after a month or two, and see where you started, you know, with no one, no friends at all, nobody that you even knew the names of, and now you're here. Maybe you're already like talking to somebody, maybe on, you know, the verge of making your first friend, or maybe somebody has invited you to hang out, and just, you know, see your progress, maybe language-wise as well, and just realize how much you're learning and how you're starting to form these little bonds, and just to see how far you've come already. My tip number 6 is to do some feel-good activities. That can mean listening to your favorite song in the shower and dancing around. That can mean, you know, working out, get those endorphins running. You can cook your favorite meal. Just do something that makes you feel good. If, you know, you're experiencing a really bad time with homesickness, maybe, you know, go to your host mom, your host dad, host siblings, maybe a friend that you've already made, and just spend some time not being by yourself. Get busy doing something that you enjoy doing, or maybe if there isn't anyone available, keep yourself busy with your favorite movie or your favorite songs. Do something that you know you enjoy doing and you know that makes you happy, and it is going to get you over the homesickness, at least temporarily. And my last tip, tip number 7 on how to get over homesickness when you're an exchange student, is to remind yourself that this feeling that you're experiencing right now is going to pass. I know it seems like it could last forever and it's the worst thing you've ever experienced when you're in it. However, you know, this feeling will pass. It might stay for a couple of days, it might linger a little bit, but it is going to pass. You are going to experience so many nicer things. There are going to be so many fun and exciting moments that are still awaiting you, that you haven't, you know, memories that you haven't made yet, amazing friendships that you haven't formed yet. It's all waiting for you. And something I find is also really helpful to remind yourself of is that you're going to have so much more time to spend in your home country than you will ever get to spend in your target country, whether it's the US or England or any other, you know, country. Your time in that country that you chose is very, very limited. So don't spend all of your time sitting in your room crying and being homesick. Realize that in the grand scheme of things in your lifetime, this is such a short amount of time, and you really only get this time to make these once in a lifetime memories. So, you know, let yourself feel these feelings, but also realize that you don't want to be wasting all of your time being homesick. Get out there, and before you know it, you are going to be back in your home country and you wish that you would have not even spent a single second being homesick. So, and the last thing I want to tell you is that you should also always remember why you started. For me, for example, going on an exchange year and studying abroad was a dream that I've had for at least 3 years beforehand. So there's so much buildup, and you're suddenly in the situation and you realize, you know, this is actually tougher than I thought it was gonna be, but there are so many reasons why I wanted to do this. I was so excited. It was a dream. I worked so hard. You did all of this for a reason, and you made this conscious decision to start this adventure. And so just maybe even do this before you leave if you can. If you watch this video like beforehand, maybe write down a list of why you started, or write a letter to yourself to read to yourself when you're like feeling down. And I feel like this could really help you out, because it's really going to, you know, show you that it's really not that bad and you are going to get through it. You always have to realize, you know, that homesickness is a normal part of your experience. It is something that you are going to go through that is going to make you stronger, and it is going to teach you a lot of things about yourself as well that you wouldn't have learned otherwise. I always feel like you learn more in the hard situations of life than you could ever learn when you're happy. So, you know, just take this as a lesson, something that is going to make you stronger, and know that it is going to pass, and that you're going to experience so many more happier things. So I hope that I was able to help you out with these tips. I feel like if you follow these tips when you're actually homesick, you are going to feel much better much sooner. So, you know, keep those tips in mind. You can always come back to this video and watch it again if you know you ever get back into a bit of a rut with homesickness. I have nothing left to say but to tell you guys to enjoy your year. It is an amazing experience that you're never going to get again. Take those moments with a grain of salt and just move on. Be happy. I have total faith in you. You're going to do amazing. So keep your chin up and smile. I know it's hard sometimes, but you can do it. I know this was such a heavy topic, so I find it really tough to kind of end this video on that. I really want to help you guys out. So if you have any sort of more precise questions concerning homesickness or any other thing surrounding like an exchange year or being an exchange student, just leave your questions down in the comments below. I will try to help you out as much as I possibly can in another video. Also, as I said, I have so much more exchange student content on my channel, so if you never want to miss out on any of my future videos, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell, and also check out my other videos on this channel. And yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope I was able to help you out, and as I said, if you have any other open questions, leave those down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon. Bye!